Hello everyone, and welcome to more Reddit stories. Now, we read a lot of entitled parents on this channel, but today, we're going back to basics and checking out some good old entitled people. We're gonna be checking out 4 entitled people stories today. In the first story, a Karen hits a biker with their car and calls the cops thinking she was in the right. In the second story, a cook at a restaurant threatens to cut herself to try to go home early. In the third story, we have a nice guy thinking OP should share his girlfriend so they can all take turns with her. And the last story is about OP's terrible neighbors using their property when they're not around. And before we jump in, take a look at the absolute irony of this photo. This parking enforcement officer is parked right in front of a fire hydrant. Now, this person can be one of two things. They're either 1, so entitled as a parking enforcer that they think they can park however they want, or 2, they're just so bad at their job that they don't even know the laws that they're supposed to enforce. Alright, let's get into these stories. And if you haven't yet, consider subscribing so you can see future videos. This story's called, Karen Calls the Police on Me After She Hit My Bike, Ruins Her Entire Life. Most of the dialogue is not what was actually said. This story happened about a year ago. I just found this sub. I was biking to the store to pick up something for dinner when something hits my bike. I look over in a daze because someone just hit my bike and see a red SUV sitting next to my ruined bike. Then Karen enters the scene. Oh my god, my car! She turns to look at me. You hit my car with your bike. How dare you? Ma'am, you hit my bike with your car. I didn't hit your car. I attempt to stand up. I didn't hit your bike. You hit my car. I respond, I can very clearly see you hit my bike. She says, you need to pay for the damages for my car. Ma'am, Karen doesn't let me speak and slaps me. Then I say, firstly, you hit me while I was on a bike lane. Not only were you driving in the wrong lane, I am injured and I could press charges against you. Karen doesn't listen to me and calls the police. 10 minutes later, the police arrived and take statements from her. Then they come over to me. So what happened? Asked the cop. That woman was driving on the bike lane and ran into me. I tried to be polite and she yelled at me and demanded I pay for the damages, then slapped me. Would you like to press charges? Asked the cop. I happily said yes. Court was open and closed as she had provided evidence against herself when she said she had a dash cam. Showing my case was true, she paid me $30,000 and her husband divorced her as her kid was in the car. She also got 2 years of prison time and her husband got full custody of the child and she can no longer see her son. As for me, I ended up with a broken ankle and a fractured knee. I'm doing fine now, I'm all healed up. I feel kinda bad though. Should I feel bad? Edit, since some people have been questioning, Karen's husband had called me to apologize and said, I am so sorry about Karen. We have divorced and I have full custody of our child. I am so sorry about all of this. Or something along those lines. This Karen really just dug her own grave. This might not have turned out as bad for her if she didn't fight it the entire way. I really don't know what she expected when she provided dashcam footage. You would think that she would be fully aware that that footage would prove her own wrongdoing, but maybe she was really just that delusional that she was so convinced she was in the right. This story is called, Entitled Cook Threatens to Cut Herself So She Can Leave Work Early. So this happened some time ago, before pandemic times. I used to help my mom at her job at a 24-hour restaurant sometimes. I wasn't a regular employee, but when I had time and the restaurant needed extra staff, I would come in and help out. We came in early for the morning shift, around 5:30, and our shift didn't start till 6. So we got coffee and chatted in the back. Still waking up, really, when the nighttime cook came out in a huff. The crazy cook says, I'm leaving early. You guys should start now. Me and my mom looked at each other and then back at her. My mom, she doesn't take crap from anyone unless it's the manager. And being told to start work early just because the night cook wanted to leave early didn't go over well. My mom says, nope, we don't start till 6, so you stay till 6. Sorry, not sorry. The night cook glared, huffed, and went back into the kitchen. I was confused since I hadn't met this cook yet. Apparently she never liked working nights and she always tried to get out of it early by pressuring the morning cook to work early. My mom and I went back in and started prepping for our shift. We hadn't officially started yet, but we were getting things ready, washing hands, tying aprons, that sort of thing, when the crazy cook walked up to us again with a knife to her own arm. Crazy cook says, I'll do it, OP's mom. Let me leave or I'll do it. I was staring at her with shock. She was actually threatening to cut herself to get out of work early, and I didn't know what to say. Physically, we weren't stopping her. She could leave whenever she wanted. She would be fired for walking off the job like that, though. But she wasn't being held prisoner. She was looking for permission to leave. Do it then, you're still staying till 6, said my mom. My mom then walked away from her, not paying her any more attention. I trailed after my mom, weirded out by the cook, though I did say to her, "You only have 10 minutes left, we'll be starting soon." She kept glaring at me and my mom, knife still in hand. For a couple minutes, I was concerned she would murder us or something, so I kept looking at her nervously and back at the clock when she was allowed to leave. Finally, it was a couple minutes to 6 and we entered the kitchen to start our shift. The night cook glared at us and showed us her arm, which was indeed cut. It wasn't deep or bleeding all that much, it was more like a long paper cut. My mom and I shook our heads, not understanding why she still cut her arm, since she had to bandage her arm in the first aid room and ended up staying in the restaurant till 6:20 when she finally left. The manager fired the cook on the next shift after finding someone to take her shift. Okay, I don't know what to say about that. That is just a craziness that I do not understand. A knee-jerk reaction to seeing something like this would be like, okay, obviously this person is psycho. But when you really think about it, it's actually kind of sad. This person probably has some real mental stuff going on. I truly hope this person is actually okay, because that's not the kind of behavior of a mentally stable person. This story is called Entitled Nice Guy Thinks My Girlfriend Should Get Passed Around. Disclaimer, this happened 7 years ago, and I'm no longer in a relationship with the girl in question, but we broke up on good terms. When we were about 4 months in the relationship, my then girlfriend got approached by the nice guy. They shared a mutual friend, and he claimed mutual friend had a crush on her. He then demanded she broke up with me and start dating this friend, because according to him, I had had her for long enough and she should give him a chance. Unsurprisingly, she told him to sod off. I was also pretty miffed about the whole situation, but not in a position to confront the nice guy. Unbeknownst to the nice guy, my mutual friend was also a friend of mine, so I confronted him about the whole situation. He admitted to having a crush on my then girlfriend, but immediately said he was never planning on acting on it. He respected her choice, our relationship, and me too much to even consider it. He was going to confront the nice guy about it though. This is where nice guy's true entitlement shines through. Nice guy claimed he did it to help mutual friend, but said that after they had gotten together, he'd wait 4 months. Then he'd ask mutual friend to break up with her and let him have his turn with her. Nice guy figured, since he was such a nice guy and got them together, that that would be the least they could do to repay his kindness. Needless to say, none of the parties involved in that plan appreciated it very much. He got kicked out of the friend group that he and the mutual friend were in, and ostracized by pretty much anyone. He spent his last years at that school a complete loner. Guys, come on. I can't believe there's actually people that think like this. My god. Let's just take turns with this girl, cause sharing is caring. It's even more absurd that he even put a number on it too, saying that he would wait 4 months, and then ask them to break up so he can jump in on the fun. Because what the woman wants doesn't matter at all, right? It doesn't matter whether or not she's actually attracted to you, that's a non-factor. Let's just take turns, guys. This story's titled, Entitled Neighbor Thinks She Has a Right to Our Cabin/Land When We Are Not Up There. My family owns a few cabins up in Michigan that we rent out throughout the year. We have one that is our main one. It's on a lake perched on a hill, so you can see it from far away. My siblings and I all have kids now, and we're all in our 30s, so someone is usually up there from April through November, with maybe a few empty weekends here and there. Our neighbors on the bottom of the hill suck. They're a couple from out west who ripped down the 2 old cottages on the land that they bought and built an ugly, modern-looking home that would fit in a large city rather than on a lake. The bad thing about building such a large home is the lack of yard space, and they love to cry to us about how their kids have no backyard, and if we could sell some of our yard to them, it would be great. Well, we love our yard. It's big enough that we had 2 weddings there, can have a full family reunion with 100 plus people and still have room to play cornhole or other yard games without being in the way. So every time this family has asked to purchase a part of it, we say no. We do have an old chicken wire fence between the properties, and we have grass, whereas they just have forest floor around their home, so it's really easy to see where the 2 properties stop. So just last weekend, my dad got a call from one of our other neighbors that they saw the bad neighbor up on the hill walking around our cabin with a few other people she didn't recognize. So my dad did what every homeowner would do and called the cops. He's drinking buddies with a few of them during the warmer months, so they were out to go check the place out really quick. Now this part is all from the cop that my dad is friends with. Turns out when they got there, the bad neighbor was walking around with her friends trying to set up a kids' outdoor winter park in the snow. The cops asked if she had permission, and she lied to their faces, saying she was in the process of closing on the land and that she is ripping the cabin down to turn it into a small snow park for the area. Well, the cops told her that she was trespassing and that they were called here by the owner who they were friends with. I guess Bad Neighbor got really quiet and started to try and walk away, but she was ticketed along with her friends for trespassing. I guess they also laid into the ladies that if a kid got hurt while they were out there illegally, they would be liable for anything. And then he said he's recommending my family put up a restraining order if she is caught up there again. This isn't the first time she has been on our property without permission. We've caught her out on our dock smoking, and she's picked a few of our veggies from the summer garden, both of which are on the other side of the hill from her. We're going up there once it gets warm enough to install more cameras, as right now we only have the ones above the doors and garages. That really is entitled, thinking they can just use someone else's land when they're not around. Scrolling through the comments, it looks like other people have also chimed in about similar experiences to this. Like this guy says, "We have a lot of absentee landowners here in the forest above town. It's a tourist area and some people own undeveloped land that they hope to build on in the future. Meanwhile, they visit sometimes and camp. One guy came to visit his property and found a bunch of younger gentlemen laying out a skateboard park on his property. Not just grading the land, but laying concrete, building features, and so on. The surf/skateboard scene is huge here, and we have a lot of legal adults who played those games all their life and never grew up, saying things like, 'Whoa dude, chill, nobody's using it.'" And that was our /entitled people. If you enjoyed, consider dropping a like and subscribing to see more of these. Thanks for watching everyone, see you next time.